Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV show, your source to completely maximize your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, with my guest, Sheikh Yusuf Abdulle, mashallah, from Minnesota. Jazakumullahu khair, jazakallahu khair for the wonderful opportunity to interview.
Barakallah feek, akhi. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for inviting me to the show. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallahu feek. So inshallah, just to kind of let you guys know, the general topics that we're going to be discussing today, inshallah, is serving our ummah, leadership as well as speaking, plus a little more, primarily as well dealing with the youth, as Sheikh Yusuf is passionate about, mashallah.
Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek. And thank you very much, Brother Hussein. Jazakallah khair. And thank you for welcoming me to the city of Salt Lake City. And Jazakallah khair. And the community, alhamdulillah, also for welcoming me to Ridwanullah TV, right?
Yes,
Mashallah. This is the first time that I am being interviewed by the Ridwanullah TV.
Yes.
But hopefully will not be the last one.
Absolutely, inshallah. It's just an amazing occasion that this is the first time you're here, as well as the first time being interviewed on the Ridwanullah TV show, and many more to come, inshallah.
Definitely. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. I really appreciate the opportunity, and the brotherhood. Alhamdulillah. I mean, I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, and grateful to the Muslim Ummah, wherever we are. Alhamdulillah, people are good.
Alhamdulillah.
Muslims are good people.
Yeah.
We usually focus on things that are wrong.
Yeah.
But if we focus on things that are good and right, we can correct those mistakes too.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful place to start.
Yes. So inshallah, to be optimistic, to be hopeful. And the message of the deen is actually about that. It's to be optimistic, to be hopeful, and never to despair or to give up.
Subhanallah.
That is the core of our deen, to never give up.
MashaAllah.
So alhamdulillah, wherever I go, I travel a lot in the United States.
Yeah.
And wherever I go, I'm being welcomed by the Muslims. Alhamdulillah. They're really good. MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. It's interesting that you actually started there, because what I've noticed just from what I've been doing a lot, probably 80% of the people don't have an optimistic perspective and view on life or anything that they're doing.
Exactly, yes.
So why do you think that is, and what do you think the solution will be for ourselves as well as for our ummah?
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair, akhi Hussein, brother Hussein, Jazakallah khair. This is really a matter of the deen, and it's the core of the deen is to be hopeful. And to have the raja always. And that was the life of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was hopeful the most difficult time. When people were in despair, he was hopeful. You remember when one of the Sahaba Ridwanullah alayhim came to him when the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was leaning on the Kaaba al-Musharrafa, and he said, why you don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to support us and to give us the victory? You're suffering, you're being persecuted all the time.
Yeah.
And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, you need to be patient. There were people who were before you who went through a lot more than you are going through.
Yeah.
And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him the good tidings and the bishara, that the Muslims will be in a better situation later on. And in the battle of trench, when the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was digging that trench, and the Sahaba were hungry, they were overwhelmed. The whole Medina was encircled. And a lot of people, gave up. Like munafiqeen, they were kind of he was promising us a victory. But here we are.
This is the reality.
Yeah, and here we are. We cannot even defend our kids and our wives and our homes. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that and he tells the Sahaba that they're going to open the treasuries of Kisra and Qaisar, the Persian and the Roman empires. They will be opening that treasure. So he was always helpful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is not only the way of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was the way of the prophets. in every matter that they go through, they were always hopeful.
Yeah.
I have this. I remember this example of in the Quran of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam when he lost his son, and Yusuf alayhi salam, and then he lost his son again. I mean, he lost Yusuf for so many years.
Yeah.
Some scholars they say that 30 plus years he lost him. And then he lost his son, and again, you know, the younger one, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Benjamin alayhi salam, and then everybody else gave up. Until they said, قالوا تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف حتى تكون حرضا أو تكون من الهالكين. You never give up talking about Yusuf until you perish and die. And he was like saying, oh my son Ismail, يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله. Go and look for Yusuf and his brother and never despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the core of this deen, is to be hopeful. Even we make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. We humans. We make big mistakes. We make small mistakes, and we make different kinds of mistakes. And the difference of the good and the bad is that, and the good person comes back because he's hopeful.
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open the gates for him again. Allah will, we go through difficulties in life.
Does not despair of the mercy
never
of Allah.
despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation is. Prophet and Ayub, he was sick for so many years, and he, his body was tired. He was tired. And then, but he never, despaired from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was always praying, he was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until he was cured. Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, who was swallowed by the whale.
Yeah.
Who would expect somebody to come out of a belly of a
have
whale?
any sort of hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet there was a hope there. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him. So, I believe that our ummah needs today a message of hope.
Absolutely.
A message of hope.
Yeah.
And a message of positive.
Yeah.
A message of looking forward.
Absolutely.
And individually and as a society, that's what we need, to be hopeful, to expect good things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to work.
Yeah.
Not just to hope, but work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, hope without work is not.
it's
no fruit.
laziness
behind
actually.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Barakallah feek.
Inshallah.
Barakallah feek.
Alhamdulillah. So that's that's one thing I love about the interviews is like you don't expect the conversation to start in certain places like that.
Right.
But I couldn't have thought about a better place to start because
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
I think that's your, mashallah, your wisdom in seeing not only what I need but also what the ummah needs as well, mashallah.
Jazakallah
Allah
khair.
subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you.
Thank you.
So what do you think about the current state of the hopefulness of our ummah right now?
And alhamdulillah, it could have been better.
Yeah.
And it should be better always.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the ummah is in the best situation,
Right.
but the ummah is hopeful.
Yeah.
The ummah is hopeful. And yes, and we are dealing with the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The sunnah of Allah, the ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives you opportunities.
Yeah.
If you don't take those opportunities, it may not last for you.
Yeah.
And so this ummah, at the beginning, we were, better.
Yeah.
عافية هذه الأمة في أولها, this ummah, the عافية or the health of this ummah was the beginning.
Yeah.
And then there are troubles.
Trials and tribulations.
Yes, exactly, that we go through.
Yeah.
Also, but as the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ummati kal-matar, la yudra awwaluha khair am akhiruha," or kama qala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My nation is like the rain. You don't know which part is better, the first or the last. So there's always good things in the ummah, whether right now or later on or before or somewhere in the middle. There is always good and khair. Yes, we live in a very difficult time. We live in a time of division. We live in a time of weakness. We live in a time that the leadership of the ummah is not up to the task that it was supposed to be. Visionary leaders. We don't have that many of visionary leaders as of now. But inshallah, in the ummah, yes, of course there are leaders, there are good leaders. who inshallah when they come out will be able to lead the Ummah inshallah. You know, country-wise, communities, you know, in the Muslim world, outside of the Muslim world, there are Muslim leaders, good leaders, inshallah, will be able to take this, inshallah, seriously and lead the Ummah, inshallah. So the state of the Ummah is not as we want, you and me and the rest of the brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
But we could do better, inshallah. And there are opportunities.
Always room for growth.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yes, room for improvements. Yes, inshallah.
To put the cap on that particular subject,
right?
Let's say, because I know for me personally, there are times of, despair. There are times of trials and tribulations that we personally go through, not only with ourselves, but with the people and so forth and so on.
Yes.
So if you found someone in that particular stage where their hopefulness and their optimism wore out, where it's almost like 10% of it left.
Right.
How would you advise them or counsel them to find that hopefulness in a practical way?
Yes. Oh, okay. Barakallah feek. When you say practical way,
that's when I threw the wrench.
Yes, that is the real task.
Yeah.
And for the Muslim to be hopeful is nothing else but practicing his deen or her deen.
Absolutely.
If you read the Quran, you know Quran is the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
Right. And it's amazing. It's the best thing we have. I mean, it's the message of Allah. You know, the word is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's with us.
Yeah.
I mean, people, usually we just say the Quran, we have the Quran, but if you reflect on the Quran, you think about it, what is the meaning of the Quran? The words of Allah, guidance that we have. So in it, there is a guidance for everything in it, in the Quran. So one of the things in the Quran is that never despair, never give up. It gives you hope in each and every situation that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the best, people came to the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they said, we have done a lot of killing, we have done so much sins, and so many of them, and what chance do we have? They were about to give up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. That's personal level and community level. Allah never despair. Allah forgives all sins. جميعا, this lafz جميع is one of the generalizing words. It's one of the strongest generalizing words. It's called أقوى ألفاظ العموم, which means everything. There's no exception.
There's no exception.
As long as you're serious.
Yeah.
Into the Ummah and level, and Allah talks about the prophets and what they went through and how they were hopeful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and practically how they moved from despair to success.
Subhanallah.
The story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam in the Quran.
Yeah.
His community was overwhelmed, overpowered by Fir'aun and his, by numbers, by strength, by wealth, by everything.
Every area you can imagine.
Yes, they were subjugated basically, they were enslaved, men were destroyed, women were taken away as slaves. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ سُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. We want them to be leaders, and we want them to inherit the earth. When Allah tells them that, when Allah is talking about that, is when they, nobody else would think about that they are going to come out. And yet you know what happened. The Banu Israel, they succeeded. Pharaoh and his army was destroyed, and the Ummah of Banu Israel finally were saved, alhamdulillah. So the first practical step that each and every Muslim should have is to first have the belief, a firm belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is going to support you in a personal level, in a community level, and in an ummah level. And that belief, everything is about the belief. And once we believe that, from that belief, already action is started.
So the belief is
the
the
belief is the
beginning
action.
of the action and the action.
Exactly. So any task that you want to do,
Yeah.
you have two components for it. One component for the first component is that you have to believe that you can do it,
No.
and that you want to do it,
Yeah.
and then you do it. So doing it is preceded by believing
That you can do.
that you can do it.
So
So let's start.
that's the root of hope.
Yes, to start from that, inshallah. My personal situation, the situation of the community, the situation of the Ummah will change, and then we need plans. We need plans and actions, inshallah. And personal levels. On a personal level, there's nothing better than worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a regular basis. And that is where you get your guidance. The more you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides you.
Yeah.
And in the community level is, unity is, and working towards unity is one of the steps
That you can take.
to change the situation of the Ummah.
Yeah.
As they say, the house divided cannot stand.
So
Right?
yeah.
If the woman and the husband and wife they are in fighting,
Yeah.
you're not expecting that house to
And
last
any
that
level of marriage that
exactly.
exists. Yeah.
So the Ummah is one house.
So
Whether it's community level or general or a country or whatever it is that. So we need, inshallah, to focus on Iman, hope, and action, which is unite the Ummah. Of course, we will have differences. Hussein. We'll have differences.
Yeah.
Yes. Difference of opinion. We have that.
yeah.
Differences in ways and how to do things.
Yeah.
But but we can always focus on what unites us.
Absolutely.
What unites us, then what divides us, and then we'll be able to, inshallah, to change our situation.
Jazakallah khair. Those are amazing tips that I can see where I can put to more practice myself.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. So just moving forward, I want to talk about your current situation, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Get a little bit into the past, and then look into the future, inshallah, just to kind of see where we're going. And you're here in Salt Lake City, Utah, alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And there's, I wanted to know, there's a particular reason why you came here. I wanted to understand a little bit more.
Yes.
What prompted your visit? What are you doing here? And then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Yes, brother. Brother Hussein, Jazakallah khair. That is really a very special and important question. And it is, serving Ummah, serving the Ummah,
Yeah.
has no limits. There's no time limits. And in my personal life, and I was taken to Duxuqra, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Islamic school. When I was even
The weekend usually.
yeah, the
here.
weekend here weekend, but
Over there is full
over
time.
there is like full time,
Yeah.
5 days at
Yeah.
least. So my mother took me to the Quran when I was I don't even remember. She used to tell me that she took me to the Islamic school when I didn't even know the name of my parents. I couldn't say the name of my parents.
So that young.
That young. That young. And a lot of things at the beginning I learned just from other kids reading. There's a term that we say Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar in our Tuxis back in Somalia is like Surah Al-Duha, Surah Al-Nas. That portion is called Allahu Akbar. They call it Allahu Akbar. Yeah, because in some qira'at, when you finish each surah, you say Allahu Akbar after it. That part of the Quran, I have learned from hearing from other students.
Just by
just in that environment.
Subhanallah.
So from that day, as I grew up, I always believed that I am responsible of something. There is something that I have to do. Always. Not for myself, but for others.
Okay. That young too.
That young too.
Okay.
That young. And then I became Kabir. In Duxi they call it Kabir, is like the assistant of the teacher.
Yeah, like a team leader.
Yes,
almost.
team leader almost.
Yeah.
Like at the age of 12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah.
The Duxi that I went to, or the masjid that I was studying, students my level that we studied together, most of them today are either imams, du'at, leaders. They have something for the ummah. So from that age until now, alhamdulillah, I will continue. I had that idea that always is our purpose in this world is not just for ourselves, but to serve.
Yeah.
To serve the ummah. That's why the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ahabbu an-nas ila Allah anfa'uhum lin-nas." Allah loves those who help people the most.
Yeah.
So, and how can you give the ummah naf'? How can you benefit the ummah? You can benefit the ummah in any way that you can.
So,
There is no one area. Everybody has some areas that he can help the Muslims.
that they focus on their
Yes,
expertise.
if you're a businessman, you help the ummah in that area. If you're a sheikh or a alim or a qari Quran, you help in that part. If you are, and you have so many ways to help. My personal goal is to work in two areas.
Okay.
Inshallah, to try to help the ummah as much as I can in these two areas. One is humanitarian.
Inshallah.
Those who are in need, as much as we can, inshallah. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Hal tunsaruna wa turzaquna illa bidu'afaikum." You're only fed and supported by helping those who are weak. So the support, the health, the good things that we have, you and me, is because of the support that we give to those who do not have.
SubhanAllah.
So, and that's one area. The other area is to work with the youth.
Yeah.
Why youth? Why the young men? Because they are the future of the ummah.
So,
And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to focus on that. If you look in the history of the Sahaba, mostly were young men and women.
yeah. Yeah.
In their teens, 20s, few of them were in their 30s.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who took the Islam from the valleys of Mecca and Medina to the gates of the cities in the big cities like Egypt,
Yeah.
countries like Egypt and Persia and
Yeah.
all that area. And which means that the future of every nation resides within the young men and women.
Yeah.
So my focus area is that
Those two main areas.
two main areas, inshallah, to support the poor as much as we can,
Sure.
and also to work with the youth, teach them, guide them, help them, feel their pain
Yeah.
and what they go through, especially the youth.
Instead
in
of
here.
just criticizing.
Yes, especially the youth in here in this country.
Yeah.
What they need is to listen to them
So
and to interact with them.
that's opposite of what's happening. right now
Yes,
for the Muslims.
exactly. Our masajids, I'm not criticizing anyone.
So-
I'm not known to be, a person who criticizes.
Yeah.
I don't like criticisms. But we can pinpoint our problems. That's
Yeah.
not criticism.
Yeah.
And our masajid should be a home for the youth.
So
And
welcoming.
welcome. And I was telling some of the brothers in some of the masajids, don't talk about the hair of our young ones.
Yeah.
If you focus on his hair,
Yeah.
you lose in many other good parts.
So.
Let him have his big hair,
Yeah.
and welcome him to the masjid, befriend him, teach him, feel his pain.
Yeah.
There's a term that they say, sympathy and empathy.
Yeah.
We should work with them towards more of empathy.
So
Like,
what's the difference between the two? Empathy and
and
sympathy.
Sympathy is like when you feel this person is going through difficult times,
Right.
or whatever he's going through.
Yeah.
And empathy is when you put yourself in there.
Got it.
So you experience
So
imaginary or maybe in the history back in your life, you experience what they're going through. And
Right.
you're saying, okay,
you put yourself in that
in
situation.
their shoes.
Empathy.
Yes, empathy.
Okay.
We need empathy for our youth. They're not bad people.
Right.
And they just need to know that we understand them, work with them. They go through difficult times. They go through identity crisis. That we're telling them to be Muslims, good Muslims, stay from haram things, stay in halal things, all that. We're saying that.
Yeah.
Yet they are in an environment that everything else is telling them, okay, come on,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
That
Yes.
negative direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like usually they say if you throw someone in the water and you say, okay, don't get wet.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
So
inshallah, that area, these two areas, is the areas that I would like to work. But everyone can work in one or two areas.
mashallah.
Focus on that, inshallah.
How did you choose those two main areas of focus? Is it trial and error, something that you always knew?
And it is, since I like always to serve, I ask myself which areas are more productive.
So,
Which areas are more productive? Which areas are more having like, in which areas
Like
you can have more positive impact?
so.
Because that is the point.
Yeah.
In this life, is not to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy in this life. I mean, people, they talk about happiness. How can you be happy? Of course, you will be happy sometimes.
Yeah.
You're not going to be happy sometimes.
Right.
Within 24 hours.
As if we're gonna get the complete happiness.
Yeah, no. This life is not about. You can get happy
Yeah.
certain times,
So,
and we don't need to be happy all the time. I mean, we cannot, but we can be content.
absolutely.
And there is difference between the two.
What is the difference?
Content is that you accept, and you accept your environment. You accept your situation. I'm not saying accept the negative things.
So,
But if you have little, live with that little until you can get out of that.
yeah. That's a
If-
very important message.
Yes. So and so you content, and because if you're not content, you will panic. Nothing worse than panic.
SubhanAllah.
Content, prevents you from panicking. You tell me who did a good decision in his life or her life
Yeah.
in panic?
Never.
No one.
Probably the worst decision that they could
Yes, the worst decision you take is when you are angry
Yeah.
and when you are in panicking.
Mm.
Even, for example, if you are in an accident, if you panic more, you will do more harm. If you cool down and you bring your mind back to the situation, you will probably do less harm. So, the point I was making is that I asked myself, because it is not, we'll be happy in the judgment today, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us to the Jannah.
Ameen.
So, Brother Hussein, and the true, unreal, and uninterrupted happiness only can happen in the Jannah.
Okay.
In this world, you can do better, you can do good, but you cannot be happy all the time,
So,
because you will be interrupted. I'm telling you, if 24 hours, somebody's going to make you angry,
yeah.
that violates the happiness.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to make you sad, upset. It is going, your happiness is interrupted completely. But one thing that we need to do is impact.
So,
The impact. And the impact is the greatest reward. When the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, let's say, the deeds of son of Adam will be over, will be severed by his death or her death. إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث, except two, three things.
yeah.
These three things that, and two of these three things are related to generations.
To generations.
Yes, to younger generations.
Okay.
Generations that are after you.
Right.
One is, and waladun salih yad'u lahu, a righteous child that prays for him.
That gives you more good
Yes.
deeds and increases.
Exactly. But that righteous child does not come by chance mostly.
So,
Allah has the guidance, yes, but you work for it as well. And the other one is أو علم ينتفع به, a knowledge that is being, people will benefit from after he dies. These two, both of them are related to the coming generations.
yeah. Absolutely. I didn't really look at it from
Yes.
that perspective, mashallah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other one is صدقة جارية,
Mm.
a continuous charity. So these are the things that will last when you leave this world. So our goal is, the Anbiya, what they did is they left a legacy behind. Me and you are going to die. Everyone is going to die. The question is, what did we leave behind? So when I thought about these two areas.
So three birds, one stone.
Yes. So two are related to generations to come.
Yeah.
One is related
which
to,
is all under the youth.
Yes, exactly.
And then the third, okay.
And the other one is to the Ummah, to the whole Ummah. So that is why I made that decision. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us, help me to succeed in that.
And that's what pretty much your continued work here.
Yes.
In Salt Lake City, Utah, mashallah.
Exactly. When I came to Utah, jazakallah khair, my goal was under these two.
Yeah.
When humanitarian, under the organization that I'm working with, and the youth, giving lectures, advising them, having meetings with them, so every city that I go to, I show Muslims these two areas.
It's amazing. It's very inspirational to see someone working in that capacity and leading the Ummah, mashallah. So I really appreciate that, mashallah. So if I could just take a step back to your childhood.
Right.
Where were you born and what was your childhood like?
Alhamdulillah, I was born in Somalia and I was raised in Somalia.
Born and raised?
Born and raised in Somalia.
Which part?
In the south.
The south.
Actually, I grew up in central Somalia, a region that is called Hiran, near Beledweyne.
Yeah.
And until I was like 10, 11, about that.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Mogadishu. And then up to the civil war, I stayed there. So Alhamdulillah, I actually grew up in Somalia, and as you can tell, I have my own Somali accent. Alhamdulillah, which is I'm proud of. Alhamdulillah, and Somali people are really good people, and they just lack the unity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite us. And it's really amazing people, and I also am very fascinated with the Somali history. And I have read so many books about it, alhamdulillah.
In Somali, like the language in Somali?
The Somali language and in English and in Arabic, both. All, the three of them, yes.
MashaAllah.
So it has a rich history. So alhamdulillah, I grew up there. And
what was your childhood like? Is it easy, rough, in between?
MashaAllah. Well, and both. A little of both.
Okay.
And it was natural, easy. There is there are articles that I'm still writing about my childhood.
Yeah.
I have a blog that is called The Middle Way of Life.
Okay. .com, .net, or?
I think .com. I'm not sure. I think it's .com.
Okay. We'll double check on that.
I will double check on that. Yeah.
Sure.
And I share it in my Facebook. So I talk about my childhood when I was young.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very simple life.
Okay.
We lived, on the banks of the river, a village that was closer to the river.
Yeah.
We're farming community.
Yeah.
We have got cows and goats and farm and
grew
our own food.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
No organic.
No organic. No
organic
preservatives.
everything.
No additives. Nothing of that. No fries. Burger King or McDonald's.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually, the article that I wrote about is called, and what I would tell my American son when he is, what I would tell my American son, and when I was at his age, 6 years old, turning 7, and as a Somali boy.
From then or no?
I'm actually telling him now.
Yeah.
But I
based on what
I have experienced.
Okay.
So the life was simple, and then this is the point I would like to make. Alhamdulillah, I lived in a simple life. My parents, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have His mercy. Then both of them, passed away. And then when we moved to Mogadishu, when I was a teenager, that's when the civil war started.
Okay.
In Somalia. Well, what happened is, and this is, I call my deen, the deen I call it the safety net. I call my deen safety net always, and I share this story with the young men and women who are going through hardships and difficulties in here, but in a different way. I went through hardships when I was a teenager, and they're going through hardships. Teenagers here.
Yeah.
Both are hardships.
So.
Both are very dangerous and serious. When the civil war started, is when I was a young man who was ready, and my age group were the ones who were the fuel of the civil war. But Allah saved me. I never participated.
Yeah.
I never took a gun out and fought, because I was saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through my deen. That's why I call
safety net. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yes, my age group, some of my friends, many of my classmates at the school, they went to the civil war. Some of them died. Some of them I know where they were buried.
Subhanallah.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved me. How? Allah knows. But I attribute that to the deen. Because I was connected to the masjid, I was connected to the Quran, my teachers were religious men, alhamdulillah. And the deen gives you safety. So it was not easy.
Yeah.
It was not easy.
So you found positive in the chaos that you were.
Yes, alhamdulillah. And I stayed, me and my friends, Duxi friends, masjid friends, we helped the community. We never participated in that part of negative things because of our deen. And this gives me the belief that we have to, and our youth in here in the United States, they go through difficulties as well, and they go through hardships, and a different hardship. So the only way that we can be safe, they can be safe, is to have faith, to have iman, to be connected to the masjid. That is a safe haven for the Muslim, is the masjid. So
that's the advice that you would give to your son.
Yes, that's the advice I'm going to my son. He's young. That's I would give to all the youth.
Yeah.
The young one is my son is still young. He's turning 7, but that is what I would give to all students, to all young men and women in here. Your safety is in your deen.
Yeah.
If you lose that, you could end up in places that destroy your future.
Yeah. So it's basically cutting the safety net.
Exactly. You cut the safety net. You cut your protection.
So.
You're out there. You're open. You're open to the elements.
Yeah. Like
Negative
a
elements.
weak immune system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, through that and that childhood, that life, and that the impact the Duxi and the masjid had a good, positive impact on me, alhamdulillah. Human, I make mistakes like anyone else.
Yeah.
But I try to stay.
What are you most proud of?
My mom, alhamdulillah, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Why?
The reason I am very proud of my mom is my father, of course, as well.
Yeah.
My father was traveling a lot, as I travel a lot.
Like father, like son.
My wife always tells me, "Oh, you told me your father used to travel a lot." Yes, exactly.
You made the connection.
Yes, exactly.
MashaAllah.
But alhamdulillah, the thing about my mother is that she was illiterate, yet she loved education for me. She took me to Duxi at a very early age.
Yeah.
And she took me to the masjid at a very early age. She would take me to, this kitab called Safiratu Salat. It's about the prayer, Fiqh Shafi'i. I studied that kitab at a very young age. Because my mom, one of her cousins, he was a sheikh. He was teaching that. So she said, okay.
She's gonna
You're going to learn from your uncle.
Yeah.
That's what she used to say.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, when I learned the deen, the Quran, and I learned how to read and write. I taught her how to read and write
Subhanallah.
after that. So she invested in me.
The investment came
Yes,
back.
and I
Return
taught
on
her.
investment.
Before she died, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have His mercy on her.
Ameen.
And she was able to read and write. She was reading the Quran. Alhamdulillah. So I'm really proud of my mom. She put a lot of good things in me. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. And my teacher is my ma'alimin, my teachers, my shuyukh, my scholars that I learned from. One of them is Sheikh Yusuf Abdulle, rahimahullah. He passed away last year in Mecca. He's one of the greatest scholars, Somali scholars. I learned from him at a very young age.
Back in Somalia?
Back in Somalia. So if I'm proud, I'm proud of my mom, alhamdulillah. Of many other people, yes, but nothing like my mom.
Yeah,
Yes.
nobody's getting close.
No one like my mom. Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Allah have mercy on her and protect her in the grave and Yawm al-Qiyamah and accept her into Jannah. What does your future look like?
Allah knows. Allah knows.
Absolutely.
Allah knows. The future only Allah knows, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. And
what would you expect, or what would you like?
And I'm not expecting to be, I'm not looking for name or fame,
So,
but I am looking for, change
mm.
that I can be part of. I'm not saying I'm going to lead the change,
Yeah.
but I want to be part of a change.
So,
That to change our ummah, our communities from despair to hope, from negative to positive,
yeah.
from giving up to doing more. That is, I want to. My hope and my goal is that to be part of that, as long as I'm alive, and wherever I live. I could be here, could be somewhere else, but that is my goal, inshallah. And I'm very hopeful, and our leaders should be hopeful. Yes, and as a leader of this ummah, I'm not saying I'm a leader, but I try to, have a good, positive impact on myself and on the rest of the community. So, and my message is that we should be hopeful and we should lead as living examples.
A message of hope.
A message of hope that is practical, theoretical, both.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I'd really admire that, mashallah, because may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase that in you. That's one thing that a lot of us are lacking, because as I worked with individuals on all different levels,
Right.
And then when I really assess myself as well,
Yes.
I feel like I lack a lot of that intrinsic optimism that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with.
Right. Jazakallah.
And I think that's something that you can lean into and press more, because I see the need that I have for it.
Yes.
The way I look at it is like glass half full, half empty.
Right.
Most people focus on the half empty, always
Yes.
what's wrong, how come you're not doing this, why
Yes.
not this, why is your hair like this, like you
Yes.
mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And they never look at, okay, the fact that you're trying, the fact
Yes.
that you're moving forward, the fact that you actually have this desire,
Yes.
even though you haven't really fruition to it.
Yes, that's true.
So that's one thing that I truly, truly appreciate of you, and that I think it's an important message, is to be hopeful and optimistic and seeing.
Right. Yes.
Where did you get that from? Is it just going through life? Because even with me, I struggle every day. Like I'm trying to look at the positive, but my mind is always focused on the negative.
Yes. Actually, Jazakallah khair, and I lived in different areas, different countries, and I lived in different situations. So life experience, I learned from the life experience in that you're not going to stay in one situation. So things will change.
Yeah. So accept the change.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can be part of the change. You can steer towards the positive ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I learned from life. Also, I learned from the deen. Because the deen is about hope, but hope in action.
Not
hope
just
in
in
action.
people.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says there are people who say we نحسن الظن بالله.
What does nuhsin?
Nuhsin means we think positive about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they're not doing the action.
Yeah.
لو أحسنوا الظن لأحسنوا العمل. Had they been positive about Allah, theoretically,
Yeah.
they would have done it
Yeah.
in action. So hope in action. Hope in action.
Yeah.
So, and there is a false hope and there is a, true hope.
Yeah.
The false hope is no action, but
Exactly.
always hope.
Yeah.
The true hope is that when you are hopeful, but you also have the action as well. So,
That's a verified hope.
yes, verified hope, yes. And whether you're doing
That's
business,
important.
whatever you're doing, if you're
Yeah.
doing business, if you're doing anything else, if you have family, if you're, yes, be positive, be hopeful,
Yeah.
but be somebody who is doing something, action oriented,
So,
result oriented.
absolutely.
Where am I going? Where am I doing wrong? How can I fix it? And I was talking to the young folks last night, and at the
In the
masjid.
lecture that you were
yes,
giving.
that I was giving.
Mashallah. Mashallah.
And we should not let ourselves like we should not let it go like do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
We should be able to say no. I mean, the best thing you could do to yourself is to say no. You cannot do this.
So, restraint.
Yes, restraint. No, you have to do this. It's like a child.
Yeah.
If you don't give a child structure,
No.
and he's not going to succeed.
Yeah.
The child that is growing, the child that you're raising,
Yeah.
must know what to do and what not to do,
So,
and must do the things that he or she is supposed to do. And who is supervising that? You, as a parent.
so,
You're guiding that child. You say, okay, do this. Did you do your homework? Yes, show me.
yeah.
Verify that. Okay, did you do your Quran? Yes, verify. But listen, read to me. I'm going to listen. Verify that.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, when me and you grow up, now we're not children anymore.
Right. But we have children. Sometimes adults can have children tendencies that they
Yes,
don't
exactly.
account for themselves.
Yes, the soul is like an-nafsu katifli, as they say.
So,
The soul is like a child. So who is going to supervise us?
subhanallah.
We have to have that part of supervision within ourselves
Right.
that says no to the childish part
No.
of ourselves.
So,
So that is where the action and inaction comes. That's where the restraint comes. That's where we can train ourselves, that we can be accountable to ourselves.
Which builds that hope.
Yes, it builds hope in action.
Absolutely.
In action.
Yeah.
So it's a self-development. And the deen is about self-development. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. He forbids the soul from hawa, from desires.
Yeah.
If you let it go, if you let it go, it will do everything bad in the book.
Yeah.
If you restrain it, if she does something wrong, she comes back.
Yeah.
If you let it go, she will do more of that bad thing until it's lost. So, it is self-control.
So,
Hope in action, self-control, self-promotion. Work hard, do your best, be hopeful. Make a mistake, come back. Doesn't work for you, try again. Maybe try in a different way. If this bottle is not selling as I wanted it to sell,
yeah.
there will be a time that I will say, okay, I'm not going to sell it this way.
Yeah.
Let me try it different way.
Figure out a
Try,
different route.
Different route.
Yeah.
What is wrong? Why it's not selling?
Yeah.
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 Everything is about that. I'm not a businessman, although my background is management.
Yeah.
I've done management and economics in the University of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I have taken so many classes about statistics. What statistics teaches us is that, okay, why people do it this way? See the results. Okay, can you do it better?
Yeah.
Okay, try it again in this way.
So,
So and it's about life. So Alhamdulillah, I believe we can do. We have potential.
Jazakallah khair. Time flies by when you're having fun, mashallah. I feel like now we're like 50 minutes in, it feels like 5 minutes.
Barakallah.
Alhamdulillah, I really, really appreciate the opportunity. Allah, it's great to sit with you and learn from you. I'm taking a lot of life lessons that I need, alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and protect you in this dunya as well as the akhirah, and reward you for your hard work. We're in the last section where I'm just going to ask you a few last questions, bi'idhnillah.
Right.
The first one is, when you look at your life, what was the most painful time of your life?
And that's when my mom passed away. You know, on a personal level.
Yeah.
She was sick for about 2 years.
In America or back home?
Back home. You know, I never went outside of Somalia, and I went outside of Somalia, but I never gave up, and you know, for the time being, not the rest of my life, to live in that area before my mom passed away. She was always the magnet, the magnet to be home.
Keep you in the vicinity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on my father, on all the Muslims. So that was the most painful. The second most painful was for that, the disintegration of Somalia. Somalia,
the Civil War?
Yeah, the Civil War. Somalia was destroyed, disintegrated, when I needed to be in Somalia. So when I needed to grow, me and my generation.
Yeah.
I called my generation in Somalia the interrupted generation. Life was interrupted.
So,
you know, I divide the Somali generation in the Civil War, according to the Civil War, into 3 parts.
okay.
One part is the part that is responsible, the generation that is responsible of destruction of Somalia.
Okay.
In action,
that's the first part.
Yeah, the first part. Action or inaction. Those who were destroying the nation,
So,
and those who did not do nothing.
yeah. They're all under that category.
Yes, either or. With the warlords, the politicians, the young men and women who participated.
Yeah.
They either one is to destroy Somalia. Those who did not like what was doing, they did not do enough to stop it. So the second generation, the second group, I call the unfortunate, the interrupted generation.
Yeah.
And that is my generation. You know, we didn't participate. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We were not at the enough age and wisdom, time to stop it.
Just byproducts of that
Yes,
circumstance.
yes. And the last generation is the generation that I call have no idea generation. Right?
Yeah.
They were just born into the Civil War.
So,
That was the normal for them.
yeah.
Either they were born outside or inside Somalia. That's the normal for them.
I was wondering which one I'm in. I think I'm in the last one.
You're in the last one.
I was
yes.
born, and then that's when everything
Exactly.
started happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything else about the Civil War.
Yeah.
That was the Civil War was the second most
painful.
painful.
And when you look at your life, like, what was the most blissful time, like your happiest time that you can imagine?
When I was a boy who was living in the village, you know, very simple life.
I can see the smile whenever you bring that time.
I really, you know, that was the time. We had little, we didn't have that much.
Yeah.
But Alhamdulillah, we had a country, we had peace, we had family, we had, you know, a place to stay, Alhamdulillah. But we can get it back. Inshallah, we will get it back. Yeah.
That's always the hope and
absolutely.
And the vision that we all carry.
Yes, we can get it back.
MashaAllah. So what's the most important lesson you've ever learned in your life?
Again, be hopeful and work hard.
So,
When you make a mistake, come back. Allah will always listen to you. He will always help you. He will always accept you. Other people, the rest, they don't like when you ask them too much.
So,
The only one who likes that you ask him too much and ask too many times is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
yeah.
So that is what keeps me going.
MashaAllah.
That's what keeps me going.
MashaAllah.
Never give up. Work hard. Do your best. You cannot do everything, but do what you can,
Yeah.
and try to perfect it continuously, and continuity of the consistency, I should say.
So,
This word consistency, I actually put emphasis on that.
consistency.
Consistency is the most important thing. That's why the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala loves the deed that you continuously do,
Yeah.
even if it's a little,
No.
if it's small. أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل. If it's a little, so consistency.
Yeah.
We start teaching, consistency. We start business, consistency and improvements.
Yeah.
If we start unity, consistency. Anything that we need to do has to have a consistency portion in it, because it will not make sense. You build this huge, in effort. You do this huge effort, whether it's business or otherwise, and in the middle of it, you don't continue. Then it's like you never started. So that's one what also keeps me going is consistency, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Under the umbrella of hope.
Yes, absolutely.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So, the last few other questions that I'm going to ask is, I want to know the 3 nasiha that you have for our ummah, our viewers.
Yes.
And then we're going to give them a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you're going to give them just a little bit of ways to contact you or any other message that you have.
Right.
I would like to acknowledge you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as well,
Yes,
and then ask you the most important question that is relating to this channel, which is Ridwanullah. So
Yes.
that's all we have left right now,
Okay.
bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Yeah.
So right now, let's say it's the 3 nasiha, the last 3 nasiha that you can give.
Yes.
Let's say this is bi'idhnillahi ta'ala at the end of your life.
Right.
Then all of the information that you've put out there, that you've written,
Yes.
all of the speeches that you have given, all of the interactions that
Yes.
you were engaged in, all of it is not going to last beyond that.
Right.
Except
Exactly.
these 3 nasiha.
These 3 things, yes.
What is your 3 main nasiha for our ummah that you can leave them with,
Mm-hmm.
that they can survive to get to the akhirah?
The first nasiha is to be hopeful and connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because that is the key. Connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the key for everything. That is success. Success itself is within the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته. And after that is unity. Within that ayah, those ayats, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Why? What's the connection between fearing Allah and the unity? Because those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the right way are the ones who seek unity.
So,
This unity is the opposite of taqwa. Unity is always in line with it. Taqwa. Connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, working in a united environment as much as we can. Yani, you're not expecting to have everyone on board. That's not going to happen. ولا يزالون مختلفين إلا من رحم ربك. يعني you will always find people who would not agree with you or do not see the bigger picture. But as much as we can to work towards the unity and to work hard. وقل اعملوا yes. وقل اعملوا فسيرى الله عملكم ورسوله والمؤمنون وستردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة. Work. And that is what we lack today. We lack in work. We became an ummah of speech. We talk, but we don't accomplish. We don't execution. Doing the deeds. Do we make mistakes in the ways individuals and groups? Yes, we will. We're humans for that. Everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes we make horrible mistakes. But we always come back to the message again. So these three things, we bring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, working in unity, and work itself. Coming to unity and work. Inshallah. These three things that I would like to tell myself and my brothers and sisters. Yes, absolutely.
Allahu Akbar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, Shaykh Yusuf.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Barakallahu
feek. What's your challenge for the Ummah?
Challenge for the Ummah is how many people did you help?
Figure that out.
Yes. What did you do for them? Not for yourself, for your family. Everybody is responsible for himself and his family, right?
Yeah.
That's even non-Muslims do that. Right? Humans do that. All humans do that.
Yeah.
But what did you do for the Ummah?
Yeah.
That is the challenge. How many people did you help? How many orphans did you take care of? How many wells did you and build? How many poor did you feed? And we're not individuals. Islam is not an individual religion. It's a community.
Focus on the collective.
Yes. Families and communities.
Yeah.
It's never individual. We live sometimes in an individual society, individualistic society, in which everybody is like me, and my thing, and my stuff, and mine.
Yeah.
So my challenge to myself, to the Ummah, is at the end of the day, sit by yourself in one place and say, ask yourself, what did I do for the Ummah? And when I say, what did I do for the Ummah, it's not theoretical, it's not wishful thinking, it is practical, it is tangible, it's what you can touch, it's what you can feel. Yeah. Say, okay, so and so I helped him.
With this and that.
With this and that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So and so I taught so and so the Quran and the Deen. I helped so and so with this and this.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge to you.
Absolutely. Amazing challenge, Shaykh Yusuf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for that. It gets me thinking a lot. You got me deep in thought, mashallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. How can the organization that you're with, that you're leading as well, how can they connect to the organization, and more importantly, how can they connect with you as well?
Oh, mashallah, jazakallah khair. Maybe we should have started with that question. It's okay.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm sure wherever it falls, it will fall into it. Jazakallah khair, Brother Ridwan and Brother Hussein with Ridwanullah TV. I'm really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to you for this opportunity. I actually work in the organization that is called HAROP, Humanitarian African Relief Organization. And that is, I'm the Director of Development and Operations for the organization. And I will be something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Whether I work with the organization directly, or whether I do it, on regular basis or part-time basis, but that's what I will do my best, inshallah. And so what we do is we help people in Africa with food, shelter, medicine, water. We have 4 projects this year. Sponsored orphans. So drilling wells in the areas that are needed the most. And helping youth to work, teach them some skills. And build houses for those who are homeless, as long as they have the land. We cannot provide land in Somalia so far, but if they have the piece of land, we try to help them, inshallah, build. So these are the areas, and the general relief. So the Ramadan drive that we iftar sa'in, to break the fast for those who cannot, do not have anything to break the fast with. And to make orphans happy on Eid days, buy clothes and for them or give them some cash at the time of the Eid so they can have Eid with the rest of the community.
Yeah.
And Alhamdulillah, Zakatul Fitri, Udhiyah, all those things, inshallah. You can go to www.harousa.org, HAROUSA.org.
Yeah. Which is short for the
Humanitarian African Relief Organization. Yes, you can also message us through the website, the email of the organization.
Okay.
And Humanitarian African Relief Organization, it's actually info@harousa.org.
Yeah.
Info, INFO, at Harou, HAROUSA.org.
USA.org.
The email comes through my cell phone
directly,
and also it comes through the cell phone of the head of the organization, Ali Hajj Abdulle. So inshallah we'll be able to answer your questions, respond to your inquiries.
Yes.
And you can also donate by being part of that, inshallah.
Barakallahu fiqh. So anybody who is looking for opportunities to do khair, this is a wonderful opportunity to support real organization, real human beings in a real way, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And how are they able to get in contact with you?
Okay, that is a good. Through the email that I just provided, info, INFO, at harousa.org. You can call the office of the organization.
Yeah.
By calling and Allah musta'an, let me get all the information for you, inshallah.
Inshallah.
By calling Harou office and 612-259-7251.
Okay.
612-259-7251.
Okay.
Also my personal number, 617-285-9543. 617-285-9543 as my cell phone.
Inshallah.
And you can call me, you can text me, and I will be inshallah able to respond to your questions. Also through Facebook,
Yeah.
and at harousa.org, and also we have Twitter, Harou Twitter,
Okay.
same thing, and through the email, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And if you go to the website, you will find all that information, inshallah.
So any, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, professional opportunities, personal opportunities, working with the organization, inviting Imam Yusuf, Sheikh Yusuf to any of the engagements or events that you guys have as well, that's how you'd be able to contact him, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Barakallahu feek. Before I ask you the last question,
Yes.
a couple of acknowledgements. First and foremost, I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this wonderful opportunity to sit here with you and interview you. I am thanking you for giving me the message of hope. I think that's 80% of what I'm taking away for today is hope, and I haven't seen anybody give it to me that way and address it to me that way. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you for that. It's a unique quality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, and I applaud you on it, mashallah. I appreciate you teaching me to focus on two primary areas in life, identifying them. Again, a lot of people I've talked to, they told me, just figure it out. But for you, it's more strategic and systematic, so I really appreciate that. I appreciate you, mashallah, for stepping up for our ummah, taking the necessary steps to build it in a genuine way, not in a selfish way, mashallah. And last but not least, I appreciate you being a good example of what we need to be for our parents. Making dua for them, keeping them in high esteem. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive your parents, to grant them the highest level of Jannah, as well as you and all of our ummah. I'm truly grateful and honored to be in your presence.
And Brother Hussein, Jazakallah khair. I'm really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then this, today, to you, inshallah, and to your Ridwanullah TV, Jazakallah khair. Thank you for hosting me. I really needed that dua. I'm not a fan of praising to be praised.
Yeah.
Allah,
But
only
you're not
Allah,
thankful.
only Allah has to be praised.
Yeah, it's always a touch of something.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. But you can't be thankful to Allah
yes.
unless you're thankful
Exactly,
to the
yes.
people. As
Jazakallah
you
khair.
mentioned in the last
Jazakallah
lecture, I
khair.
was listening.
Jazakallah. But I need the dua. I really appreciate you for the dua that you made for my parents. I love my mom and my dad more than anyone else. You know, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then my parents, and Hoya and Abu, mom and dad. And mashallah, it's, you know, anything that contributes to their well-being, dua, that's what I need the most. Jazakallah khair, and give me that today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and bless your family and your parents. Are they alive?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve them for you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the tawbah, the tawfiq, the day that they are passing away and they are meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is ni'mah.
Absolutely.
So jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this effort, the effort that you do for the community, and every one of the brothers who are sisters who are watching this or maybe watch it later, to support Ridwanullah TV, inshallah, to support the brother Hussein's efforts in you know giving this khair, alhamdulillah. You know, the ummah is, everyone contributes
Just
in one way. Yes, exactly. So brother Hussein is contributing in this way. So we need to support him in this way as well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, inshallah. Last question.
Yes.
The channel is based on Ridwanullah.
Yes.
And Ridwanullah has some value, a lot of value.
MashaAllah.
And I want to know, what does Ridwanullah mean to you? Not the organization or anything like that, but just the word in itself, the essence of it.
Oh, okay. I mean,
the pleasure of Allah.
I don't want to give another lecture. We've been lecturing the viewers of Ridwanullah, the brothers and sisters, for good time now.
Alhamdulillah.
But Ridwanullah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us His rida. You know what they say, that why the Sahaba are different from the rest of the Ummah? Because Allah gave them Ridwan. Allah gave them Ridwan. Radiyallahu anhu wa radu anhu. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in rida with you, when He is satisfied with you, and He will never be married again. That's the difference. He's not going to be married. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us His Ridwan and His Rida. So the meaning of the word is really very attractive. It's deeply rooted in our deen, alhamdulillah. And people who watch, inshallah, will be satisfied, inshallah. And hopefully, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give those who view and contribute and be part of it, to give him the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give them the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallah fiik. Allah yabarak fiik, Ustad.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you.
Ameen.
Amazing
Jazakallah
interview,
khair.
Allah,
Barakallah fiik. Jazakallah.
Allah subhanahu wa
Thank you,
ta'ala
akhi.
reward you.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah.
So that concludes it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV show, your source to completely maximize every single area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm your host, Hussein Mohamud, checking out with Sheikh Yusuf from Minnesota, saying, never give up on completely maximizing your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair.